Well, good evening, YouTube. This is day 63 of 100 Questions with Jesus. And the question today comes from Luke 16:11. And it goes like this: If therefore you are not trustworthy with worldly wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? This is an awesome question, and this is something that we all need to think about. There's another thing that Jesus would say and that is, he who does well with little, God will give him more. And there's also we if you haven't heard the parable of the talents, where one servant is given 10 and one servant is given 5 and another servant is given 1 talent, and the master goes away and tells them to utilize it wisely. And the one that has 10 talents, he takes and he goes out and finds different ways of investing that money and doing really well with it. And the second servant with the 5, he does the same. He's finding every way that he can increase the master's wealth that he gave him. And then the other servant that just got the 1 talent was basically made a comment that he was afraid, and he just went and hid it in the ground. So when the master returns to these servants and he sees the one with 10 talents has done so well, he says, well done, good and faithful servant. Here's 10 more. We're going to double up what you have because you've been faithful in what you've been given. And the next one he comes to, he says the same thing. He says, you've been faithful in little things, here we're going to give you 5 more. When he comes finally to the one that had 1 talent, the servant, is kind of, with his head down, he says, I knew you were a hard man and that you sow where you haven't sowed before. And I didn't want to, lose your money. So basically I buried it in the ground and here it is. And the master's not pleased with this servant. He said, you know that I've been able to sow where I haven't sowed before and been able to increase my wealth. And you should have at least taken it to the bank, but you were lazy and you did nothing with it except bury it in the ground. And this parable has so many different meanings, in terms of what we do with our talent, what we do with the wealth that God's given us, what we give with our time, or what we do with our time, and what we do with everything that God has given us. We have a responsibility to use our gifts, our talent, our skills for the glory of God. And we should not be the same as God left us, but we should be different. We should be more. We should have increase. And so I say this to you today. What has God given you in your hands to be faithful with? And if you're faithful with that, he will give you much, much more. So think about what God has given you and do your best with it. God, is very understanding, and he only expects us to do our best. He doesn't expect us to do, what the guy with the 10 talents does. He doesn't expect us to do what the guy with the 5 talents does. He just expects us to do the best with what he's given us. So go forth and do your best with what God has given you, and you have a wonderful and blessed day. And we'll see you on day 64 of 100 Questions with Jesus. Take care.